So, what made you start Release the Bats?
What made us start Release the Bats?
Yeah, what made you want to start Release the Bats?
I'd say back in 1998, there was a lull in the scene. There wasn't a lot going on. It was mostly turning into like synth, which is all right. I like synth. But the whole scene seemed to be turning into synth at the time. And there wasn't really any like gothic thing going on. There was like, you know, some clubs had rooms with a gothic or a death rock theme, but predominantly it was synth and EBM. So the Que Sera, me and Jen and Jeremy were at the bar like we always are, and they said, hey, we're gonna throw a Halloween party in October. Why don't you guys do it for us? Because you're into like gothic stuff, you know, it'd be a gothic theme. I go, okay. So we thought, you know what would be great would be like, get like the old school crowd to do a Halloween party. So what we did is basically called all our old friends and said, hey, we're gonna have this party at the Que Sera for Halloween. We're gonna call it Release the Bats. So it's a birthday party song. It was a fitting name because we're gonna release the bats. It was a release. Have the old school come out and release what they were doing, and it was basically a release. And that night in October of 1998, it became this bitchin' thing. And it was a total coincidence. It was supposed to be a one-off, a one-night thing, but it turned out to be this rad thing. And after the party we had at the Que Sera in 1998 in October, we had a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, and saying, this is great, let's do it again. You guys should do it again. So we decided, hey, well, let's do this again. So we talked to Benz, the owner of the Que Sera, and that's when it became a monthly event. Because we had this, nobody else was doing it, this little niche. Like, oh shit, remember Death Rock? Remember the term Death Rock? Yeah, I remember Death Rock. Basically, in a nutshell. There's a lot of people waiting to release what they had going on, and we let them. And we gave them a place to do it. And it's been that way for almost 9 years now. It's unbelievable. How's that? I forgot what the question was. I'm going off.
So, how did you start playing for Patrick?
Patrick Mata, I met Patrick Mata 1989, 1990 through the club scene, through Helter Skelter, and there was a club going on called Obituary. He had a band called Sativa Love Box going on at the time, and it was a really great band. It was a rock and roll band, and I met Patrick Mata at that time, just at the clubs and whatnot. We started talking about music and mutual interests, things like that, David Bowie, stuff like that. And about 5 years later, he was forming Kommunity FK again, and he said, hey Dave, you play bass, because he knew me from an extremist, he knew me from other bands, things I was doing at the time. And he said, hey, how would you feel about playing bass guitar? I said, fuck, you're kidding? Fuck yeah, I'll play bass guitar for Kommunity FK. Fucking A. So we became really good friends, and I started playing bass with him. And there's a lot of other stuff. We hung out, and we did a lot of fun things together, you know, whatever. I didn't get into that, but yeah, I knew all the songs right. I knew Something Inside Me Has Died, the hit. I knew One Set Eye, I knew the whole album. I knew Vision of the Voice. I knew all those songs. When I was learning how to play bass guitar, I was learning to those records and those CDs, and the Christian Death, Only Theater Pan, all those bass lines, stuff like that. So if James McGarity of Christian Death was to ever like not play anymore, I could fill in 2 seconds. But anyway, yeah, Patrick and I have been friends for forever. Since 1990. What's that? 17 years. What else?
Yeah. So was a lot of work to get this club started?
Not really. Yeah. To be honest, not really. No. Because there was no other club like this when we started it. There was nothing specifically old school Gothic or old school death rock. There was nothing specifically for it. So when we started this, I'm lucky enough to have friends who have been in the scene, Dinah Cancer, all those people. I've known all those people for quite a while. So when we started this, everybody I knew went, hey, right on, I'm there, you know. So it really wasn't a time and place type of thing, you know. It wasn't hard. Every single month for almost 9 years has been great. every month has been great. I mean, shit, the place only holds 230 people legally, and every single month there's over 200. It's just amazing to me. I love it, and the people that come love it, and that's all we do. We just love it. Just go with it, ride with it, hit it. Don't question it, just do it. Your light's burning out.
My light's turning out. So what's one of your most memorable shows you've had at Bats?
At Bats?
Yeah.
That's hard to say. Every show's memorable. I mean, every show. Last December 2006, we had 45 Grave, the new 45 Grave, and that was a milestone. It really was, because I remember 45 Grave from back in the 80s, and to have them play at my club was just like, you know, even though I've known Donnie Cancer for years, don't get me wrong, but it was just phenomenal. And to have my friends backing her up, playing with her, it was really great. That was a real memorable show. The first Frankenstein show was memorable. Every fucking show is memorable. There hasn't been a dull fucking Bats ever. You know, in 9 years, coming up October, we're going on 9 years. There hasn't been a bad Bats yet. It's really, really phenomenal. I mean, I can't even believe myself, and I throw the fucking thing, you know. How about when Element played? Element, the first, you know what was fun? The first anniversary show when Element played. I'm in Element. And that was a great show. I remember that. But anyway. And, what was the question again?
How did you start Element?
Oh, that was Shane. Shane and Scott started that years ago, back in about 1993. I think it was about 93, 94, where they started writing some stuff. But we added the live aspect to it, and it became a band, and it became really great. Scott had to leave the band. He pursued different interests. Everything was cool. He pursued different interests and doing electronic music. He did a lot of breakbeat music, and back in the mid 90s, early and late 90s, rave scene was huge. Breakbeat music was huge. He went on to pursue a career in that, and he became very successful at it. The Element persisted. The Element went on, and it was Jeremy and me and Shane and Doug on drums and half keyboards. It was cool. It was good. It was a good ride, and we're not done yet. It's just been on hiatus for about 3 years, you know. But we're not done yet.
Do you feel that that your club has had a significance in the Death Rock movement?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I've been told this by many people all over the world that Release the Bats is an institution. Release the Bats started the next wave of Death Rock. It brought it out of the grave. But yeah, it's been a big anchor. It really has. It really started a big thing. And throughout the years, it's just grown bigger and bigger. And a lot of newbies, I'll say 21 and unders, have discovered this rad old scene, you know, that we used to do when we were kids. And they're getting into it now. And it's so fucking bitchin', you know. They're like, they got Bauhaus on their jacket. They're 18 years old. Now, in 2007, they have Bauhaus on their jacket. They have TSOL. 45 Grave. Bands like this. This is the shit we liked when we were in the 80s, when we were kids. And now they're doing it now. It's unbelievable. And it's a lot to do with Release the Bats. It has a lot to do with it. And it really does. And that to me is just flattering as fuck, if you ask me. You know, I just do what we do. But to other people in the world, it's a huge thing. And I think that's fucking rad. I love it. I think it's great. You know, but it's real. It's real. It's not a fake thing. We're not making money. We don't care. It's not about money. It's about the aesthetic. And that's the point. And people get it. And 9 years later, we're still doing it. It's unbelievable. I think it's great. Totally.
Do you think the Death Rock scene has changed over the past 20 years?
Well, yeah. You know, it went up and down. It had its waves, you know. Back in the olden days, it was new. And then the middle days happened, the 90s, and everything went synth, and a lot of shit like that happened, and then we came along and brought the old shit back, and it's changed a little, but the people that were into it from its inception haven't changed. Many of them have kids and they work at a grocery store, whatever, that's their thing. But a lot of us who are musicians kept going, and a lot of us, you know, kept the art going, kept the whole scene going, and you know, really, actually, it hasn't changed much at all. It's actually the same thing as it was back in the olden days. Really, it's just new people, new generations, and you know, it's cyclical. It happens that way. That's cool. I can't wait when Release the Bats ends at some point. You know, who knows when? There'll be another one. You know, and someone will take that place, and I look forward to it. You know, it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question. That's pretty much it.
Covered all those questions.
I'm Dave Batts. I do Release the Bats. I'm glad you're paying attention, and I hope to see you out here one of these days. It's good. It's a good time. You only get one life. Make it great.